SEER brings so much to Raid, and I'm not just talking about what's in her chest plate. Finally, he sleeps here. Today we're going to talk about SEER and take a look at her kit and discuss the most effective builds. First though, make sure you subscribe here at YouTube, turn on notifications so you never miss when anything goes live for Raid or any of the other stuff on the channel. Seriously though, SEER, she's literally an absolute nightmare. Looking at her kit, she brings an average one-hit attack on her A1. Nothing to write home about. Only positive here is a 15% chance of granting an extra turn. On her A2, this is a good one. She's bringing a 25% weakened debuff on all enemies and a 30% increased crit rate on all allies. Now her A3 Karma Burn is where all the good stuff happens though. She removes all buffs from your team and throws them at the enemy team as a damage. The more buffs you have, the more damage she inflicts. She also has a 50% chance of placing sleep debuff on the enemies with a percentage going up to 5% for each buff she throws. 10 buffs on your team takes that to 100%. Now, this all sounds fantastic, but you have to remember that when she uses her Karma Burn, your team is basically defenseless afterward because she just removed all of your buffs. You'll need to take that into consideration when you're using her. You'll also need to pair her with champions that lay down a decent amount of buffs to give her fuel for her Karma Burn. Archmage Helmet is the most obvious choice in mid-game. There are better options out there, but for most players, he's just a no-brainer. You're going to want to book her out completely on her A2 and A3 at least, just to get their cooldowns to a minimum, because remember, she's literally just all about the Karma Burn. Okay, so let's take a look at her kit. To get her firing at maximum potential, you'll want her crit rate at 100%. That way, everything that she lays down is going to be a critical damage hit. She is void, so that's going to help. You want her critical damage at 200% minimum. Anything closer to 300 is better. Crit damage gloves, along with double or triple rolls on crit rate for the substats on anything else is going to help. You'll then need to make sure she has a crit damage amulet to push those numbers even a little bit higher. For gear, you kind of have a choice here. She's a little squishy, and she's going to be stripping off shields and buffs, so Lifesteal or Bloodthirst would be a great start. Or you can just go for raw power and focus on speed and ignore defense gear, such as like Instinct or Cruel. Crit rate and crit damage should be your main priorities though, but she's also going to need HP and defense to keep her in the fight. Try to get as much percentage for those rather than flat stats. So you want percentage stuff. I actually have accuracy there, but you're looking for anything that has percentage rather than just flat stats across the board for all this stuff. Speed is going to be a big deal, so definitely want speed boots in just to get the numbers up. And banner, you want to have a speed substat there for the banner as well. That's a must. If you want her to sleep, to use that sleep and be able to weaken for those to stick, you're going to need a decent amount of accuracy. I actually have her in an accuracy chest plate for this. Getting her exactly where you want her will be a balancing act for most people. My best advice is to keep your stats above the following wherever you can. You need at least 100% crit rate. You need at minimum 200% crit damage so that when that Karma Burn does hit, it does maximum damage. 300 accuracy, 225 for speed as a minimum, but your speed's going to relate to your timing and how you want to be able to get her to line up with whoever is fueling her with buffs. 50,000 HP, 2,500 attack, 2,500 defense, and 175 resistance. Those are like minimums. You can push things higher. The highest crit damage you can get is always a high priority for her. She is a nuker. You may end up sacrificing some of those numbers a bit to make room for others, which is fine as long as she's performing how you want. Next up is coming up with the buffs that she needs to maximize damage. Beyond pairing her with Archmage, you can make sure everyone is in a blood shield ring. That way they start each round with a shield. You may put someone in the team in a bolster set. That helps too. And or someone in a shield set or divine set with self shields. That way, every time you go to the new round, you're always throwing in someone else. Everybody's getting all of those shield buffs right at the beginning of their round. Another option is to pair her with a cooldown champ such as Renegade, so she can use her Karma Burn more frequently. Pythion from the last fusion event, Mythbane. There's several champs in there that do lay down a lot of buffs that she can use to deal damage. So let's take a look at her masteries. For this, make sure you're giving her every opportunity for crit rate and crit damage. You're definitely going to want War Master on her for the most bonus damage possible. As for where to use her, she's going to be awesome in waves. Basically, anywhere that you have waves to build to get to a boss is going to work best. She's a beast in Dragon, Ice Golem, and Fire Knight. Although her single hit A1 may need planning. You may have to basically take that into consideration. You'll need a lure in there, someone to hold the Fire Knight's turn meter in control just because of that single hit A1. But she does, as a nuker, she's going to be fantastic on the way to Fire Knight, and she can do some serious damage when she gets there. Doom Tower, she lays waste to waves as well there, but you're going to need to remember that she is a bit squishy. For Dark Fae, though, you can use that squishiness to your advantage as long as she's timed properly, and you can get your buffs laid in and Karma Burn to hit so that she can take out the entire team that you have across from you at the Dark Fae. That's SEER. She's a monster in Raid when built correctly and paired properly. If this helped you, make sure you subscribe here at YouTube. Turn on notifications so you never miss when a video goes live. I'm finally He Sleeps. As long as you guys keep watching, I'll keep making videos.